Welcome to Sipping Success, the ultimate podcast for all things beverage and alcohol. We are here to quench your thirst for insights, analysis, and a splash of entertainment. Get ready to dive into the world of beverages with us. From the latest trends to in-depth discussions with industry leaders, we've got it all covered. Whether you're a connoisseur or a curious sipper, Sipping Success is your go-to guide. Join us as we uncork knowledge, raise a glass to innovation, and help you elevate your brand to new heights. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's sip success together. Tune in to Sipping Success and drink in the wisdom. Cheers.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Sipping Success. I'm your host, Casey Hawkinson, and today we're really excited. We have a guest on, David Habib. He is the founder and CEO of Yo Mama's Foods. In a world where food's validity is based on the latest fad, Yo Mama's strives to bring everyone back to their roots through healthy and delicious pasta sauces, salad dressings, and condiments. So David, welcome to the community here at Sipping Success, and thank you for joining us. We're really excited to find out more about Yo Mama's. Not only a great name, but we're anxious to dive in here, particularly when you're talking about pasta and sauces and whatnot. So can you share with us a little bit more about your background?
Absolutely, Casey, and thank you for having me on this podcast today. So a little bit about us. Yo Mama's Foods, exactly as you said it, we are a natural foods manufacturer, and we're focused in on cleaner, better for you sauces, dressings, and condiments. So it all really started back in 2017. We launched on Mother's Day, and we're really focused on ultimately cleaning up the consumer packaged goods. Even natural foods have certain ingredients that your mom doesn't cook with, and that's really the foundation of what we do at Yo Mama's Foods, is that we only use ingredients that mom has in her pantry.
And where did your passion for food, and particularly health related food like this, where did this passion start from?
So passion really stemmed from mom and grandma, and in growing up, my mom had such a unique way of really bringing people around the table, different backgrounds, different cultures, and we were all unified around food, and that became our language, and is still my favorite language today. But ultimately, I think that's really set a really important precedence for me about the importance of food and the importance of really gathering around the table, and that cultural piece that I grew up with is something that we strive to also bring to many customers today. So I was working in corporate America when I originally had the idea. I was eating out a lot. When I wasn't eating out, I was buying jarred pasta sauce at the store and was getting some pretty wicked heartburn. And that was really the start, as I started to look at the ingredients and say, why are there 1,200 milligrams of sodium per half cup? Why is this loaded with sugar? Why does this have citric acid in it? All these ingredients that my mom never cooked with when I was growing up. And that was really how we started to go into a deep dive in consumer packaged goods, and really start to question why certain companies are producing things the way that they are. And of course, it all comes down to cost and profit, but we wanted to do things differently. We wanted to really create a brand that was focused in on fresh, better for you, healthy, homemade, and ultimately time saving, because today no one has time to slow cook a really good sauce for 6 hours. But if we can do it for you under the Yo Mama's brand, then that's ultimately our passion and why we're in business today.
That's great. That's a good story, and you're definitely right. I mean, food kind of binds us all, and obviously reason why we're even here today. Can you just to dive in kind of on the business side? You mentioned you came from corporate America and then started Yo Mama's in 2017. So maybe walk us through the trajectory of like, you know, how were those early days, and how was it getting through the pandemic, and how are things right now? So
Absolutely.
kind of a three-part question there.
Sure. I love it. So the early days, just like any entrepreneur will tell you, is a school of hard knocks,
Mm.
where you're just making mistakes. A lot of them are very expensive mistakes. You're really learning all of the nuts and bolts of the specific industry that you're operating in. So, I didn't know what a distributor was when I started this. I had very basic knowledge of what it takes to really support and build and ultimately invest in a brand. And we never took outside funding and still haven't today. So it's been a bootstrap business that today ships to 22,000 stores nationwide.
Wow.
So we've definitely come a long way. Have built a really rock solid business that's profitable, that's healthy, that has a really strong team. And we did it the kind of non-traditional way, where most CPG companies will take VC money or private equity money. We really wanted to know our unit economics. We really wanted to understand exactly what we were doing in our business, before we would even support, a national scale retailer like Walmart or Kroger.
Hmm.
So early days, it was really understanding the production model. And if
Hmm.
I can help your audience today, I'd say it's starting small, thinking big, and scaling quickly.
Hmm.
And that's really important. I knew that we needed a strong manufacturer who can bring our vision to life. It took me a while to find those companies out there, and most of the time it was very expensive mistakes and issues with companies that were trying to take shortcuts or didn't believe in our mission. And I think a lot of people, everyone has their aunt's, recipe or their grandma's recipe or their mom's recipe. But a lot of these manufacturers take advantage of smaller brands because they know that they don't have what it takes to ultimately make it in retail.
Hmm.
So they try to make as much from you as they can in the early days. So we had a very challenging time with that, where our cost of goods were just not sustainable to ultimately build a retail business.
Hmm.
And what quickly transferred is we really turned on vertical integration very early in the business. I'd say within 4 months. And that was the key for success for us, is really understanding the unit economics. How much does the label cost? How much does our jar cost? How much are the fresh tomatoes, the fresh onions, the fresh garlic, the oil, everything? And by doing that, it gave us the foundation to ultimately scale the business. And as we scaled, we were able to really build strong relationships with these suppliers and vendors who we still work with today, to ultimately drive those volume savings and build a sustainable business that can support retail. And pasta sauce, dressings, and condiments are very competitive in the retail store. They're hyper promotional. It's typically a very product polluted set. So we knew that we needed to have a very strong brand, an absolutely amazing tasting product, and a really fun and catchy brand and label to ultimately be able to sell and hit all of the velocities that we needed at these retailers. So I know that that's a long answer
Yeah.
to
No,
your question, but
and I'll we'll get quite often like newer brands on the show, and even some will say, for several months on end we had to hit a particular region and have taste tests and whatnot. uh and so did you go through any of that as well, like to build a fan base? Did you have to put any boots in the ground to get just to get people tasting the product?
absolutely. So demos and samples were very important and are still important today. But something that really expedited our growth was Amazon, Casey. And we
Yeah.
launched on Amazon October 2017 and became the number one bestseller in pasta sauce by December. So that was really important to helping us to scale. And it also gave us the ability to ultimately understand where customers were purchasing us, what zip codes, what were their reactions, how were their feedback, helping us to formulate an even better product, as far as constantly always iterating. And I think that's a really important trait that we've developed here is we're small and nimble enough to be able to quickly adapt and to quickly improve and ultimately change. And I think that's a really important trait when you're launching anything, is you're not going to have an absolutely perfect product when you go to market. And being able to understand that, make sure that it's the absolute best 90%, but also making sure that you can support and continue to develop improvements. I'll give you a good example. Our first orders to Amazon, we shipped in 12 packs, and Amazon shipped our first 65 orders to customers in manila envelopes. So we had exploded pasta sauce as
Wow.
our launch onto Amazon. But that taught us a lesson that we need to control our customer experience, our shipping, our
Yeah.
packaging, our boxes, everything down to the actual tape. So that's where you're always iterating, you're always improving, you're always making the customer experience as absolutely flawless as you can, because when you're a startup, you only get one chance, and
Yeah.
that one chance will dictate if you have that retailer or that customer for the short term and the long term.
This podcast is brought to you by Mushroom Media, the go-to digital media agency for all things marketing. From crafting captivating campaigns to decoding social media sorcery, Mushroom Media is here to empower your brand and help you scale. So whether you're brewing, distilling, or concocting the next big thing, Mushroom Media has a solution for you.
And so particularly what's interesting to follow up on Amazon, so you exploded on Amazon almost right away. Do you think it was like your actual branding and your narrative around your product that really helped that kind of initial explosion happen?
Yes, I'd say so. We launched on Amazon really before food and packaged foods was what it is today. And I think COVID really helped to expedite what was going to happen in the grocery world. But instead of happening in 5 years, it happened in 2 months because everyone was purchasing groceries online and really changing their behaviors and their habits into how they got groceries. So by launching onto Amazon before COVID, we already had the infrastructure and the right systems in place to be able to support the tremendous growth that we saw during 2020. For us, it was really all around brand, Casey, and did invest and still do invest heavily in ads. And that's really the name of the game with Amazon, is you have to be able to outperform their expectations, and you have to deliver an absolutely perfect customer experience in order to survive. It's a really challenging platform, but it's been very important to our growth. And that omni-channel presence for us was really rooted in the foundation of our company, where we knew that we wanted to be online and we needed to be in stores. And that's ultimately the foundation that we are growing today, and something that's important, because as more customers purchase you in stores, your presence becomes stronger online, and vice versa. And that's a really a guiding principle for us as we keep on expanding into different products and additional categories.
Well, great. Can you discuss any partnerships or collaborations that have helped you grow?
Our manufacturers that we work with today are absolutely amazing and have been a real catalyst for our growth, because without their support and their infrastructure, we would not be able to ship to 22,000 stores. So that partnership took me a while to really build, and we're still building them today. But that's a really important piece of the puzzle, is you have to be able to support the operations and the supply chain in order to ultimately expand. And there's so many different functions that any entrepreneur has to have and learn, from cash flow management to finance to ops to sales to marketing, all of it. But really, without a solid operations behind the sales, your sales will continue to decline because then you can't perform. So I knew that our brand would be able to support itself as soon as customers tried us, and our repeat rates are extremely strong. We have very loyal customers and are excited to continue to build more. But really, that operational partnership and the foundation with our manufacturers is really the nuts and bolts behind our ability to scale so quickly.
Great. Well, you have been listening to the Sipping Success podcast. I'm your host, Casey Hawkinson, and we've had our guest, David Habib, on the show. He is the founder and CEO of Yo Mama's Foods, and they are striving to bring everyone back to their roots through healthy and delicious pasta sauces, salad dressings, and condiments. And he's been sharing his story with us here on Sipping Success. A couple more questions for you, David. Number one, could you share with us any advice you'd give a younger entrepreneur, or any advice you wish you maybe particularly had once you got started?
Yes. So besides starting small, thinking big, and scaling quickly, which is really a guiding principle that we use today, I'm sure everyone reads this and hears it, but you really have to have belief in yourself. You have to have the ability to get hit by a bus today and stand up and do it again tomorrow and get hit by a bigger bus. There's a saying of small business, small problems, big business, big problems. And, our problems that we face in our company last year are a piece of cake compared to the problems that we're facing today. And the problems that we're facing today are going to be much easier than our problems next year. So really I would say that's a important principle, is to understand that you're building a muscle. And, it's just like working out. You're not going to be a pro athlete after you work out for a month. It doesn't work. You have to put the time and the commitment into training and into getting stronger and getting better. And it's the same philosophy within business. You're building a muscle over time. And I think, for lack of a better term, it really is survival of the fittest, because business is not easy. It's extremely challenging, but if you have a positive outlook, belief in yourself, and really have that understanding that you're building a muscle and that you're getting stronger over time, then anything is possible.
Yeah, that's great advice. And last question here for you. If anybody wants to connect or thinking about working with you or partnering with you, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you?
Yep, you can find me out on LinkedIn, David T. Habib. And then you can also check out our website, yomamasfoods.com, and find us on Amazon, Sam's Club, Walmart, Whole Foods, Sprouts, H-E-B, Publix, Kroger, Stop and Shop, wherever you do your grocery shopping.
That's great.
Our sauces should definitely be there.
Well, congrats at being at all those big locations. That's enormous success since 2017. And we've really enjoyed having you on the show here, David. You have been listening to Sipping Success. I'm your host, Casey Hawkinson. Again, we've enjoyed having David Habib on. He is the founder, CEO of Yo Mama's Foods. And there you have it. You know how to reach out to him or get yourself a pasta sauce or dressing or two. So, David, thanks again. Have a wonderful week ahead. And thank you all out there for listening.
Thank you, Casey.
And that's a wrap on another insightful episode of Sipping Success, brought to you by Mushroom Media. We hope our discussions have left you thirsting for more knowledge in the world of beverages and alcohol. Stay connected with us on social media for updates. And remember, the journey to success is best enjoyed one sip at a time. Keep exploring trends, connecting with leaders, and scaling your brand. Until our glasses meet again, cheers to your continued success, and may your cups always runneth over with inspiration. We'll catch you in the next episode.